Today's video is sponsored by Sailly. I filmed a video trying to recreate some of my favorite looks from my mood board over on Xiaohongshu last year, and the results were some of my favorite outfits to date, and the app continues to be my go-to when it comes to style inspiration. Like, Pinterest who at this point? I don't know how they do it, but that algorithm consistently delivers looks that I'm just going to be obsessed with. And since then, it's only gotten more popular as a result of the threat of the TikTok ban and so many people flooding over there to the point where they even added an English translation now. So I figured it's about time for a part 2, and I feel like this is going to be even better because I have a couple of exact pieces this time around because yes, finally, I made a purchase from Taw Bell. Previously, I'd always just put it in the too hard basket because I believe you had to use like a third-party shipping agent, which can get kind of costly. Why did no one inform me that they actually offer direct shipping to Australia now? And it's free if you're spending, I think it equates to like $60. Sadly, the catch is it's only like participating brands. So sometimes you'll see something you fall in love with and you're like, oh, that's not included. But whatever, there's still a bunch of really cute brands available, and I'll talk more about some of my favorites I came across as we get into it. This is actually what sparked it all because it's been sitting on my wish list for the longest time, constantly popping up on my explore page. The most gorgeous jumper from Kyoko House. I just love all the details that go into this, the cutesy pattern, the cable knit, and even their little brand logo in the corner. I will say, at least for me, the turtleneck portion is just too long. I have quite a short neck and then no chin, which just it doesn't make for the most flattering combination when it comes to an extremely high neckline, but I think we should be able to solve it with just a few more folds. Most of the time I'm seeing it styled with just black, gray, and white, actually sticking very similar to the promotional pictures the brand puts out themselves, which I love to see. I feel like it's very reminiscent of like Awkward Girl in shoujo manga, which we all know I at least like to believe I am giving. So I ended up sticking with the same simple mid-length skirt and then softening it with a few frilly white lace elements. Most of the time people were opting for either grey tights or some variation of socks. Recently, I found myself in a bit of a colored tights moment, so I thought it could be fun to try and pull the lilac from the pattern in the jumper down to the tights, and then play around with layering some socks or leg warmers to kind of balance out the chunky texture of the knit. I absolutely love this. I mean, I am a sucker for some good knitwear. Honestly, I am living in the wrong city for it, but this one being short sleeve means you can layer it as much or as little as needed, so it'll be perfect come autumn winter for me. It's not just the online brands that are serving the inspo though, because like I mentioned last time, some of my favorite accounts to follow are actually vintage stores because they offer some of the most unique styling ideas. My number one go-to is still LRF Vintage. I will never get sick of them. And I also found this account that somehow only has like 200 followers, but I'm just now realizing I think it's actually a subset of LRF. But instead of showing the visual merchandising on the mannequins, it's actually spotlighting the workers' fit checks. And of course, on my bucket list to actually visit in person is room 707. It just looks like perfectly curated Nana heaven, which I'm even more determined to tick off my list ever since I got to visit Hachi's favorite burger joint IRL in Tokyo last year. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. Let's manifest a future China trip. You already know the haul would go insane, but regardless of where I end up traveling next, my number one essential remains the same, and that's an eSIM. Today's video sponsor makes that easier than ever. Sailly offers affordable eSIM plans in over 190 countries and 8 regions, so you can always stay connected. Shocker to absolutely no one, I'm an anxious traveler, so just the idea of being stranded in a foreign place with absolutely no connection is nightmare-inducing, but thanks to Sailly, I can rest easy knowing that I'm prepared. And all it takes is 3 simple steps: download the app, choose the plan you want to purchase, install the eSIM, and then as soon as you land, you'll be connected. Which means no more waiting in lines at airports to pick up a local SIM, and also no stressing about hidden fees and roaming costs from your regular provider. And I really appreciate that it only needs to be downloaded once, so you're not installing a new eSIM for each country. They also offer 24/7 support and full refunds if your device isn't compatible. So what are you waiting for? Download Sailly now and get an exclusive 15% discount on Sailly data plans by using my code SPOTLIGHT at checkout. As always, you can check out the description box for more links and information. I feel like one of the biggest reasons people were getting sick of Pinterest is the amount of ads it is flooded with. Rednote still has some sponsored posts, but the difference is I actually like what they're feeding me. And I believe that's how I originally found this brand, Anato. Such a sweet aesthetic. And there's a bunch of other brands with a similar feel like Sunset Park. Like if you're a Sandy Liang stan, you'll have a field day on Taobao, not in like a dupe way, but just very similar wavelength. I've been all in on the sailor collar. I think even behind me, there's like 3 pieces, but apparently it's never enough because I could not resist the most adorable blue gingham set. I think if you grew up on Sailor Moon, then it is somehow just inevitable that this will end up on your mood board. So freaking cute as a set, but obviously can be worn as separates as well. And already I know this skirt is going to be one of my most worn. And I was stressing about the sizing with these because I've heard people say that you need to size up a few sizes. I ended up getting the skirt in a large and it fits comfortably with wiggle room. Like I feel like I could have stuck with a medium, but the top I got in a medium and wish I had a sized up. Not that it's too small, but I do have kind of a long torso, so it just feels extra cropped. If you're someone who's a fan of old school J fashion, early 2000s fruits magazines, then I am begging you to please stop sleeping on Chinese brands because they are absolutely devouring in this department. I'm constantly falling in love and adding things to my wish list, but if you're looking for even more recommendations and just general discussion on the creativity we're seeing come from Chinese fashion at the moment, then I would definitely check out Senegal over on both TikTok and here on YouTube. J fashion lover too, more in the Garu space, and often features brands that you can get on Taobao. There were 2 pieces at the top of my wish list that consistently pulled my likes on rednote. This top from Our Happy, but it is constantly going out of stock. I just haven't timed it right yet. And the other one I did manage to get my hands on is from the brand Neo Go Made, and honestly, it feels like an art piece in itself. Just the skill to have so many different intricate illustrations and prints, but still come together to make one cohesive piece. Honestly, one of the coolest things I own now, as well as the heaviest. Like, thank God it was free shipping. Otherwise, this would have cost a fortune. And they also included some cute little freebies, including a sticker sheet, which I'm such a sucker for. I love the colors they opted for, but if you are more of a cool tone palette, they offer a very similar item in blue. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit intimidated when it came to styling because I'm more of a layer lots of things rather than just having one bold statement piece, but surprisingly, kind of easy to style around. And I feel like they're deserving of an extra shout out because this was the final push I needed to get the ball rolling on that Fruits magazine inspired lookbook. Speaking of which, another aesthetic that I commonly see interpreted over on rednote is the kind of mori style. This is actually something that isn't about a standout piece, but indeed all in the layering, which I think is why I see it so much when it comes to vintage stores specifically, because it is something that's very easy to thrift. Like, I'm pretty sure just about my entire outfit is secondhand, including the shoes. I feel like I've attempted something quite similar in the past, but it was just left half baked, whereas today I tried to add on those couple of extra layers, which definitely can be trial and error. Like, who knew my slight variance in cream outerwear choices could make all the difference? At the end of the day, I'm sure this still isn't an accurate representation of mori, but that is what I appreciate with C fashion. I feel like they have a bit more freedom to mix and match different styles that they like rather than just running through a checklist to meet all the criteria. But like I mentioned in my last video, I've been really working towards having everyday outfits that I feel comfortable, easy getting dressed in the morning, but still feel fun and like me. And I feel like there's a lot of good inspiration for that here. Just pairing some simple basic pieces together, but maybe the color palette's what makes it more interesting, or throwing on a more unique accessory. I think my next video will actually be completely dedicated to this, like the outfit formulas that I keep reaching for. But today I'm combining a couple of different pictures from my mood board. I really liked how the button-up paired with this chunky cardigan, but I love the blue and leopard from this look. And then of course I've been trying to get my reps up when it comes to styling these shorts, so that's what I opted for on bottoms. I know most of you are going into spring, but for those of us waiting for the autumn weather, I feel like this is perfect to get in the mood. Kind of along the same lines, which I feel like I'm describing as timeless but fun, which is very Carrie Bradshaw in my opinion, which makes sense because what I'm talking about is the over-the-top tulle tutu skirts. These are constantly on my feed, but today I wanted to style it as though I was a mannequin for the brand Ovens Yang. I'm not sure on pronunciation, I'm so sorry. I really love their styling direction, and I feel like another big element for them at the moment is kind of that underwear as outerwear trend. We're seeing a lot of bras layered over the top of, say, a cardigan, which once again, is this not giving Carrie Bradshaw realness? Currently, I'm not so sure that I actually have an event that I could justify wearing this to, but I also just love playing dress up, so I'm happy to leave it at that. If Taobao just feels a little bit too overwhelming, like where do you even start? start, then I would actually suggest going to one of the third-party reseller sites, something like Arcana Archive or Devil Inspired, just seeing what you like the look of, and then you can either copy and paste the individual brand names over, or even just take a screenshot and use the image search on Taobao. Even some brands get recommended on TikTok a lot, like Fierce, Striker Pose, and I Like. I do really love their vibe, but I ended up only making a small purchase of a pack of badges. I just figured the artwork is such a big part of their brand, and this is a cool way to display it, and I really appreciate the variance in size and shapes as well. And I really tried to keep their aesthetic in mind when it came to styling an outfit from my own wardrobe too. The color palette, the camo, the kind of quirky layering choices, and the chunky boots all felt very true to their styling, and I love it. I feel like this is the sort of outfit that would be drawn in a really cute character form, which again feels on brand. The other thing about Xiaohongshu is that it doesn't just have me adding things to my wish list, but also my DIY list. You already saw the cute little crochet sailor collar, but the most recent victim was this, I guess, doily wrap skirt. This has to be one of the best beginner thrift flips you could choose to do, because it is so easy, but it's also very effective. So you feel proud of yourself, like you've accomplished something, gives you a little bit of confidence to move on to the next thing. I thrifted all of these doilies. I think the key is to get them in a bunch of different sizes, and then I attached them all to also just a thrifted scarf. And to get an idea on placement and how everything's gonna sit, all I did was tuck it into my pant line. Again, I'm telling you, super easy. I didn't really have any of the pieces to style it like the original creator had, but I saw the leopard and then just went in my own direction from there. Honestly, so many looks that I'm just absolutely gagged over and would love to recreate, but just don't have the means with my current wardrobe. So a few things I'll be keeping an eye out for next time I go thrifting, and also already have a new addition to the DIY list as well. This cute little like flower tie situation. I don't know, but I love it. And I forgot to mention earlier, but shipping isn't exactly the quickest. I will say I purchased just before their New Year celebration, so that probably added a delay as well. But I am literally still waiting for my last item to arrive. To be fair though, their brand customer service was really good. They were super responsive, and I didn't have an issue with waiting a little bit longer. The last thing I got is probably kind of boring because it's just an upgrade on my everyday bag. And when it comes to my choice of bag, I'm not afraid to admit I am a basic gal. It's just a classic black crossbody. It does actually come with a shoulder strap as well if you want to wear it as a shoulder bag. I just really appreciate the simplicity of the design. It's very timeless, whereas I feel like a lot of bags at the moment are falling into trend territory. But with that being said, I am actually very tempted to make another purchase for potentially a trendier bag. I really like the ones with the buckles, or just something where you can hang more keychains. I'm really happy with the quality of this brand. I believe it is Smosmos, but there's a couple of others I have my eye on too, and also have really good reviews. I don't know, I definitely don't need to be rushing into any purchases anytime soon. I'm just gonna let it sit for a while. We all know I have so much in my wardrobe already that I need to be utilizing, so hopefully you'll be seeing more of that in videos very soon. But in the meantime, don't forget to check out today's video sponsor for affordable eSIMs, Saily, and get your exclusive 15% discount with my code SPOTLIGHT at checkout. If you guys have any questions about shopping on Taobao, then feel free to ask, or if you have any suggestions for me, they are always very much appreciated. But thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I see you again soon. Bye!